Hey there, Sean Kevelighan with Triple I. For another executive exchange here, we have a returning guest, John Huff. He's president and CEO of ABIR, as we affectionately call it, the Association of Bermuda Insurers and Reinsurers. John, welcome.
Thanks, Sean. Pleasure to be here.
John, Bermuda, it's roughly a little over 20 square miles, about 65,000 people, yet it plays a critical role for insurance and global risk management. Why is that?
In many ways, the world's risk capital. So it really kicked off some 30 years ago, right after Hurricane Andrew, and reinsurance became less of a gentleman's agreement and more data-driven and very analytical, and really created what we know today in some markets of insurance companies relying very heavily on international reinsurance and then pooling those risks. So we can take the Florida hurricane risk, the Missouri tornado risk, and the Japanese typhoon risk, the French flood risk, and combine them and work them together in a risk pool. And Bermuda has been doing it strongly for about 3 decades, and now has roughly about a third of the global P&C reinsurance market.
Wow, yeah, diversity is how to manage risk best. So it sounds like Bermuda's got it. But with 65,000 people, I mean, that's a small talent pool. But you see, and from my perception, there's a true dedication to insurance, probably much more than we have here in the United States. Why do you think that is?
Well, first of all, there's a culture around the market. So a taxi cab driver knows the duties of an actuary. People here are very much embedded in global events and how it may impact the industry. If you think about 30 years ago, when the company set up here, the Bermudians working in the industry may have been 2 or 3%, just maybe bookkeepers or receptionists or the people in the mail room. And today we're so proud that our Bermuda ABIR members have about 70% of their local workforce are Bermudians or spouses of Bermudians. So that's only from the hard work of career development, training, robust internship programs to get Bermudians in these jobs. And we'd like that number to even be higher.
That's great. So we're in the home stretch here, as I would say, for 2022. What's on your mind in terms of key issues for ABIR in 2023?
So I just came back from the Monte Carlo Rendezvous, a large reinsurance event, talking about the themes of what's going on in our space. And so certainly there's a great deal of emphasis on rate adequacy and making sure the resources are there to pay claims. Great deal of focus on climate. We've been natural catastrophe leaders for years, and there's a natural transition into climate risk finance. We also see a growing interest in specialty lines. So casualty, cyber, political violence, which includes terrorism, which many Bermuda players are already very strong in global markets, and also U.S. mortgage insurance, which has become quite a dominant line of business here. So we're seeing a great deal of interest in these growing specialty lines, which actually goes to putting more talent on island. These are very talent-rich lines of business, and they require expertise. Companies are going what I call narrow and deep into those lines. They're picking their strike zone, but then they're investing in the resources, the expertise, and the talent.
Yeah, we are as an industry, I think, finding more and more that people are kind of getting into their niche for the industry, and many of them kind of sticking with it because insurance is driving more and more specialty lines as we evolve in this disruptive world we live in. So, John, you get the last question for me.
Well, Sean, where do you see us going between now and January 1 of 23?
Well, again, much like you said, we've got a lot of disruption happening in this world right now. We're still in the midst of hurricane season, and we're seeing a lot of activity. We've got a pretty significant predictions that are out there. So in large part, we've got to manage all of this risk and inform people about it. Because what I worry about this year and I think beyond is we need to begin to shift more from just detecting and repairing after catastrophes to predicting and preventing. And we need to help our customers do that. We need to help our customers understand that there needs to be some changes in behaviors. If we're going to get this right, we need to take some more collective responsibility about what's happening in terms of the severity. The fact is, people are living more and more in harm's way, and we need to think more about being resilient. So for III, that's what we're focused on, is really helping people understand what predict and prevent and resilience means, helping them be a part of this, bring risk more to the forefront so that we think about it more and we do more to prevent it. So that's what's on our mind this year. We certainly, like you said, climate risk is a big issue. Cyber is going to continue to be a big issue. What the role of insurance is and is not. We've got big issues from III in terms of economics, and what's happening with inflation and what's happening with replacement costs in our industry. So a lot to deal with in this industry, and of course, above all, too, that's putting a real strain on us is legal system abuse. And really, that's going to be a big story in states like Florida and Louisiana that need to understand changes and reforms need to happen. So hopefully they will.
Yeah.
Hopefully that answers your question, John.
Very well, Sean. ABIR just worked with some other groups and we've just produced a white paper on man-made catastrophe, which goes directly to some of these issues you raise, social inflation and litigation abuse. And it's available on our website if folks are interested, www.abir.bm.
That's great. Yep. And by all means, get a hold of the ABIR report. Go to III.org for more information about all of these issues. We're here to inform you and be a trusted source of information. So, John, I appreciate your time again. Thanks for the return visit, and we'll hopefully talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Sean.